left out. Are you getting that feeling sometimes? I know that I do, where I think, with friends, family, my kids, do they still think that I'm worthy of their attention, that I'm valuable? And if you're getting those same kind of feelings, I'm dealing with it now, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job. So I have 3 tips for you, and let's get started. Let's start with tip number 1. Ask yourself this question. You might want to write this one down. Is this really important to me? Am I unworthy? Am I left out? Or do I just think that I am? That's a good question, because you're thinking about yourself all the time, right? Look what they're doing to me. They're not inviting me, and why aren't I part of this? And it's all me, me, me. But sometimes it's more about them, and we got to kind of look at the other side of the story. So let me give you an example. Maybe you've been visiting your friends once a year at their house, and then all of a sudden they say, you know what? Not this year. I don't think we want to have anybody over at our home this year. But hey, you know what? Let's meet at a restaurant. Well, your first thought is like, they don't like me anymore. They don't want to spend all that time with me, and it's me, me, me. Well, what I found out, and these are very dear friends of mine, it isn't about me, me, me. It's about them. And they're getting older. Their routines have changed. They don't want to stay up late at night. I'm a night owl. So when I'm over at somebody's home for a weekend, I'm still chatting away at 11 o'clock at night, and they're like, okay, it's time for bed at 9. And I get that. So again, ask yourself the question, is it that I'm unworthy, I'm unlikable, I'm unlovable? Or what is happening with them? Do I just think that that's the situation? Same thing goes with the kids. And a lot of you know the story, but I think it's so important because a lot of you can relate. Christmas time, you always have them over to your house. I've got 4 kids, always for the turkey dinner, always for the presents under the tree. And then you get the text that, all of us kids have decided that we're not coming to your house this Christmas. We're going to have Christmas at the younger son's house. And by the way, it's going to be on the 22nd. Oh my gosh, no Christmas at my house? Oh my gosh, on the 22nd? Like, that's not even Christmas Day. I'm unlovable. They don't like me. No. Think about the other person. And in this particular case, our youngest son, he has a baby. So he doesn't want to do all the traveling to our home. And yeah, kind of, gets in my head like, who got the 25th? Which parent got the 25th? But I let that go because I don't want to be the parent that says, well, what about me? Why can't I have the 25th? Why don't we rotate I don't want to be the wow parent, right? I want to be a parent that they love because I'm easygoing. And you know what? The 26th of December is just fine, and it was fine, and it was beautiful. So these are things where, again, my tip number 1 is, instead of saying to yourself, why are they doing this to me? Am I unlovable? Am I left out? Am I unworthy? Instead of asking all those questions, ask if you're just feeling that way. And then at the same time, think about them and get the answers that you need. Find the answers. Even ask your friends, can you just tell me, what's happening? How come we're not doing weekends anymore? And I got the answer that they just don't want to do. They want to see people in restaurants now. They go to bed early at 9 o'clock, and their lifestyle has changed, but they still love me, and it's still, they still are best friends. I truly believe to be a good friend, a good parent, a good part of a family, you need to understand the other person's circumstances. And a lot of times, clarity brings comfort. All right, but what happens if you really are feeling left out? You have a friend that you've had for decades and they're suddenly ghosting you. And again, this has happened to me where I had a friend for decades. And I would always call her on her birthday. I would always call her at Christmas time. And I just sort of get the machine. One time I actually got her and she said, "Oh, I'll call you back." She never called me back. And I thought to myself, again, why am I being left out? Why am I unworthy? Why am I abandoned? Why is all this stuff happening to me? And I just let it go for, I think, about 1.5 years. And then I thought, I think it was Christmas, I thought, oh, I'll try again. And she picked up this time. And she actually talked to me and she said, "Oh, Heather, things have just been crazy. My sister's husband, who I knew, and he was a wonderful guy, he died. And now she was living with a sister. She was spending a lot of time with the sister. Also, her daughter, she only has one child, just had a baby. And I found that she was moving into a different kind of lifestyle. And again, I've got a different kind of lifestyle. I like to go out with people. I like to discover new places, in and around the city that I live. And whenever we would go out together, it was always kind of an event. And, she just didn't have time for that anymore. And I get that. And if we think about our past, there's a lot of friends that ghosted us, or maybe we even ghosted them, right? Because they were different. They may have been kind of the friends that we would meet out to party and that sort of thing, but then we had kids and our lifestyle changed, and all of a sudden that partying, that going out to bars and things like that just wasn't part of our lifestyle anymore. So believe it or not, you do it to other people too. And a lot of times, again, it's just circumstances have changed. And a lot of time we have to let them go with love and set them free. Which brings me to tip number 2. Sometimes our friends are only here for a few seasons. We change, they change. And so we have to kind of be at ease with that. And the other part of tip number 2 is maybe it's time for you to, as they say, find your tribe, right? And all my kids are grown up right now. All my kids are doing well and they're in their own lives. I'm not a big part of it anymore, so I have to kind of find something else, or some other people that are more like me, other people that their kids have all grown up, people who really, I love people who lift other people's spirits up. And I find myself going out to lunches now, a lot of women who are kind of life coaches or people who are helping the aging journey with other people. And I find it stimulating. And you know what? They're my friends now. They've become my friends. And maybe, again, I know I always talk about pickleball, but maybe you're still active. I know my husband and I, we still, we go for these walks all the time. We feel youthful. And, I got to tell you this is going to make you laugh, really. My husband said to me the other day, there's this whole big group of guys, and they're all kind of young, middle-aged, and they're lawn bowling people. And I went, lawn bowling people? Like, who would have, I thought those were like 80-year-olds. Shows you what I think, right? But Bill's actually thinking, maybe we should join a lawn bowling club. And I thought, whoa, okay. But apparently these people that he sees at this bar, they're really active, and who knows, maybe one day they'll be part of our tribe. But I think you have to get out there and kind of find out, instead of wallowing in your unworthiness, instead of shrinking and thinking, oh, I'm really left out, and shrinking and thinking they don't like me, just going like this. Just think, that's them. It was a season. I enjoyed the season or two, but now it's time for me to find people of like minds who actually like me. And once you start doing that, that little shrunken up person will start to grow. And you'll blossom. And you'll find that you are worthy. And you're not left out anymore. And I think right now it's time for me to take a sip of my Earl Grey tea. And I hope you're sitting back and enjoying these chats, and you've got your own favorite beverage. And, you know, I just feel like I'm talking to my friends, right? You're my friends as well. And I hope that also that you're getting all of my messages. I think there's about 12 of them now on my chats. And the algorithm is finding you. And if you're finding you're not getting them, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the notification bell. But I just want to read that quote now because here it is. Simple. Choose those who choose you. And that's a quote by Healthy Place. And isn't that the truth, right? You don't have to go chasing after people. You know, if they're in another season of their life and circumstances have changed, either roll with it, you know, see them at the restaurants, or also set them free. And then find people who choose you. You're a wonderful person. So remember, if you're just chasing after the people, and sometimes these people are, you know, maybe they're not even treating you right, but you're always trying to, you know, to be their best friend and that sort of thing. But they're not. They're using you. They're not treating you well. Choose those who absolutely choose you. And my number 3 thing to consider, and stay till the end because I have a lot more besides this point to talk about, but how was your childhood? A lot of times, you know, in our childhood, we have feelings of abandonment. And again, I'll tell you a little story about myself, and that is that when I was in my 50s, my grandmother told me that she raised me till I was 5 on her farm. And my actual parents were in the city, I guess, getting their lives together. And I lived there for 5 years. And so I do have feelings of abandonment. And maybe for you as a child, maybe there were boys in the family and the boys always seemed to get, you know, the preferential treatment and you didn't. Or maybe a parent left you, or maybe it's a situation where one parent was really a disciplinarian and you always felt small and unloved. And do you see where I'm going here? And so when you do feel left out in a certain situation, a lot of times it's your inner child that's noticing all of these things, that your inner child is saying, oh, you know what? I'm unloved. Oh, I'm abandoned. Oh, I'm unworthy. And so the next time that something like that happens to you, think about that. And then what I do is when I do feel like that, and there are a lot of times I do, I just sort of put my hand on my heart. I take a deep breath, I breathe out, and I just sort of say to my inner child, it's okay. It's okay. You're all grown up now, and you've made it through everything, and it's okay. You are worthy. You are loved. And that's sometimes what I just have to center myself and get myself right back there. And talking about feeling safe and okay, I would love to hear from you in the comments if this message has really resonated with you. And of course, if my messages are helping. And of course, also, what kind of things would you like me to chat about? Because this channel, this new channel that I put together, it just means so much to me because I'm really speaking from the heart. And talking about speaking from the heart, I also just started a new private community. It's for women who are on the aging journey. And you can find all about it at patreon.com/lovingourage, and go to the About section, because there you're going to find that it's going to be very interactive. It's going to be a little bit more up close and personal with me as far as chatting to me. I'm going to be putting up things every single week, and just check it out, because I think it's something that you could join. You'd probably not feel left out, and it might be a place where you can find a lot of new friends to chat with. So there you go. Now, I know that most of you here, you're heart-centered, you're loving, and it's really hurtful to think that somebody is leaving you out of their lives, and you have to remember that's their path. And like that quote said, choose people who choose you. And that just makes all the difference in the world. So I hope that this chat today really helped you. And remember to stay inspired. Remember to stay empowered. And I can't wait until we meet again. Take care.